Hello everyone, my name is Brenda Campbell. I'm an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher, and I want to welcome you to this video and thank you all so very much for believing in me and subscribing to my channel. And I'm growing every day and I appreciate it. It is all because of you, so thank you very much. I'm super grateful to every single one of you here watching. So today is Mindful Monday, and we are going to create a tile, a little piece of art, if you will, using the 8 steps of the Zentangle Method. Now, the Zentangle Method is not truly intended to create a piece of art. It's simply what results at the end of our Zentangle journey. Zentangle is like a practice. Think of it, I've heard it coined yoga for the mind, but really I use it for many things. I use it to relax myself as sort of a artistic meditation. It has changed my life, and I'm happy to be introducing it to some of you for the first time and introducing maybe some new ideas to some of you who have been watching for a while and practicing Zentangle for a while. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right in. I always begin with step 1, which is gratitude and appreciation. And in this step, I'm going to guide you through a short breathing exercise. The purpose of this is just to kind of get you settled into the moment and prepared for our drawing. So if you are ready, go ahead and get comfortable wherever you are. You can close your eyes or keep them open, completely up to you. And we're going to start with 3 deep breaths, breathing in fully and out slowly. And again, breathing in and just becoming alert and aware of what's going on in this moment. And breathing out, just relax everything on that exhale. One final breath in and out. Now just let your breath fall into its natural rhythm and just notice it there. Don't direct it. Doesn't matter if they're short breaths or long breaths. Just follow it. And as you do, let things just clear out of your mind. And when you're ready, think about something that makes you smile. And just hold on to that first thought, whatever it is, and feel into that smile, that happy, that gratitude. And remember this feeling. And as we draw today, if you reach a point where things just aren't going where you want them to, simply stop yourself, take a deep breath, let everything go on the exhale, and when you're ready, then just come back and begin drawing again. And now that we've finished, you can open your eyes if they were closed. You're going to go ahead and move on to step 2. Step 2, we use our pencil for, and we are going to put a dot in each of the corners of our tile. Step 3 is to create a border by connecting those dots. So now I've got my frame, if you will, my border is put in there. The next step, step 4, is the string. Now the string is a line or a series of lines that create different spaces inside of our border that we use to place our patterns or tangles. So today's string is going to be, I'm going to draw it just really fast. I haven't planned this in advance, so we're just going to see what happens. I'm going to draw a couple of different curvy lines. Okay, 2. One was just a curve in the corner. The second one I ended up with this little circle, and that's perfectly fine. We're moving on now to step 5, which is the tangles. Now again, I have not really pre-planned any of this, but I'm looking at the space I have and I'm trying to decide how I want to fill this space. So I'm going to start with my circle. For some reason, that's calling me. And I'm going to use the pattern umble. Now, umble is kind of like hollybaw in that we use a lot of drawing behind. And I'm going to start from on one side and just draw a line across. And then I'm going to draw another line, an aura, if you will, to that first line. So I have a band that goes across this oval shape here. So now I'm going to draw a second one that goes behind the first one and aura that line and make a band out of that. I guess I'll do it this way. And a third line going behind, and then aura in that line. And then this one, I'm going to make it go a different direction. And I'm going to put one more. Let's say this one starts behind here. Okay, so I have my series of bands, and I drew them sort of hollybaw style, just drawing behind. Now I'm going to draw an aura on each side, on the inside of each band. So let's start with the one on top. And then I'm going to turn it around so that my line is above my pen. You always want to try to aura a line that you can see, and that's why I turned it around. If I had left it here and tried to aura like this, you see my pen actually covers the line as I'm drawing, so I may or may not be able to aura it very well. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and continue to add the bands, the auras, excuse me, to each of these bands. It almost looks like a little egg that I've wrapped up in, I don't know, some sort of ribbon. I'm going to use my Micron 03 to fill in solid black in these inside bands, inside where we just drew those last two auras. Now the 03 is a little bit wider than the 01. So it will help to make filling in this black a little quicker. And it's going to take me some time to fill in all of these bands. And so if you're drawing along, you may want to just pause the video and then fill all of your bands in with solid black. And then when you're done, come back to the video and we'll pick up where we left off and go to the next step. So go ahead and pause your video now, and I'll see you when we get back. Okay, so I finished my umble pattern, and I've got all of the black lines, solid black lines filled in. So we've already got some drama now on our tile. Umble is a drama tangle with all of the solid black. So I have, from what I can see here now, I have this section I can fill with a tangle, and then I've got a section in the back that I think I may end up just using that as a background. So I think I'm going to go ahead and fill this center tangle with maybe a grid pattern. So let's go ahead and draw the outside of the section first. And apparently I'm going outside of my border on that side. That's okay, no big deal. I'm going to go ahead and do my grid, and I like to do them on the diagonal. So I'm going to start in the corner. I'm aiming for this corner, but I stop when I hit my line. These are some long lines, and they're apparently not going to be very straight. That's okay. I do need one more here. Then we'll go over here to the other ones. So my grid squares are going to be multiple sizes. I'm going to assume that will add interest. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the lines that go the opposite direction for my grid. Not sure why I flipped it the other way. That seemed to be the comfortable thing to do. Okay, so I've got my grid in here. Let's just go ahead and use the tangle bales. I kind of like that tangle. So I'm going to go ahead, start making my shallow C shapes, or some people call them rice shapes, or seed shapes. And every line in this grid will get one of these shapes. This is one of the simplest grid tangles. And I like it because you can keep it nice and simple and plain, or you can decorate it a little bit if you want. If you need drama on your tile, you can add some drama in your decoration to bales. So it's quite versatile. So is this row, apparently. I think that's, okay, that's all of them going that direction. Now we'll go this direction. So you can see these lines that don't have complete squares that I'm just drawing as if it's going under. So it doesn't touch the line on this side, because that's kind of a short rectangle or square. Okay, so that is my bales, and I am going to keep it very plain today. So now I've got some space. I've got 2 more spaces, or I could look at this as one space that goes underneath this bales section in the center. So that's what I'm going to do, is put something in the background here. And I'm going to go ahead and make it something organic. I'm going to use my all-time fallback and use Printom, which is just the spirals. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to make them really big though, just for some size drama. And they will go behind each other. Also going behind this. So let's put, now that is the outside of one that's mostly behind. And we can even do this if we want. Okay, so I've filled up most of the space with these really large Printom, and I've got spaces in between that I'm going to use to fill with the tipple. So I'm just going to put these orbs of tipple, make them whatever size they need to be, to fill these spaces in between. guess I've got them all. I've got plenty of tipple in here. Then I think I'm gonna just randomly fill in some of these tipples with solid black and make them little black orbs. Start down here. Kind of go around the perimeter, then I make my little circle in one of the corners for my sparkle. That's kind of what helps to give it its dimension. Come down here, do another one. I guess that's good enough. Just a few for random spacing, if you will. Just for little bits of interest spread throughout. Okay, so I'm done. We're done with our tangles, our patterns. We're moving on to step 6, which is the shading. So now I'm going to pick up my pencil, and I am going to begin by shading on either side of this strip of bales that goes in the center. That's where I'm going to begin. Go back up here, do this on both sides. And you can see this is pretty heavy graphite. There's a lot of graphite here, so. And I'm not putting it on top of the black, because remember, it won't get darker, it will get lighter. So I skipped that. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Let's see what happens when we blend that out. Oops, here's my tortilla. Now, because this is so heavy, I could really blend this out quite a ways, but I want to keep it relatively close to the bale's tangle and not spread it out too far, because that way it looks, I don't know, a little bit more interesting. You get more contrast because it's darker between the light areas. I'm softening the edges just a little bit. Okay, let's get the other side here. Okay, so that's our first layer of shading. Now I need to decide what I want to do to shade inside the bales. And I think I'm gonna make it look, well, let's just see what it looks like. I'm gonna add a line of graphite on the lines of the grid that go across the section, so they're shorter than the other lines. And I'm gonna blend that out. Now we really just want to get a little bit on each side of that line. You don't have to be fussy with it. Just use your tortillon or blending stump or whatever you have. Finger, if that's all you have. And just kind of spread that graphite around. Blend it out a little bit. Okay, so now we've got these column type things, but you know what? I don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and put graphite on all of these grid lines, and that's what we're going to shade. Okay. And remember, shading, when we're doing this using the Zentangle method, the shading is simply a way to add contrast. It's not necessarily supposed to look like there's a light source or anything. Those are the things you learn in art school, I suppose. Well, I know because I did go for a little bit. I have a 2-year degree in art. And I'm also just using what I have left on my tortillon for graphite, kind of putting a line of graphite on the edge, here where it goes off the tile and here where it goes down to the border. Okay, so we've got bales shaded. We're done with that. Let's go ahead and shade umble. And because there's all this black, we only have a little section on each side of an overlapping band to fill in with our graphite. Up here on the edges of our bales, over here we've already got some graphite, so we don't have to add too much. Might not have to add any in some of those sections. Okay. Or not last, when I've got some graphite on my tortillon, I just filled in those because I did not lay any graphite down with a pencil on that area. Or here, but I can do the same thing. Especially these smaller areas, you'll find you don't necessarily need to add a lot of graphite from your pencil because it will blend some from the tortillon. Okay, so there's not much there's not much to shade for umble, but we've gone ahead and done those sections that come from the edge or that cross over, and that's going to be good enough, I think. Now, another thing I want to do here is I want to go ahead and put graphite on the edges of umble, which really means where they go behind the printums and tipple that we drew in our background. So really I'm just adding graphite to the perimeter where I need it of my umble. So here we go, blend that in. Remember, be careful when you're blending around those solid black bands because that paper will tear a little bit. Okay, I don't want to get too crazy, so I'm going to say that's good for that. Now the only thing we have left are all of these large printums and our tipples. So wherever they cross over, I'll put some graphite. Wherever one goes behind, same thing. And I'm not going to put any graphite on any of the orbs because if I want to add shading, which I probably will, some point. I'm not going to probably need much. Okay, so let's go ahead and start shading here. Now I'm also going to put a little bit around the perimeter, just to give it some dimension, not too much. I'm not adding graphite there, just using my tortillon. Just like with all of my rounded tangle shapes, I try to make the bottom right corner of mine all a little bit heavier graphite, but it doesn't have to be that corner. It can be any of the corners, and you can decide if you want. Okay, so I didn't put any graphite on the orbs. I've got plenty here on my tortillon. So in this little section, I'm just gonna put a little bit of a smile in each of those orbs. Not even that much, you can hardly tell. Okay, so back to this section, and we'll get all of these going behind. That was it. So there wasn't as much graphite here. Okay, so let's go around the perimeter. I don't really have too much graphite on here. I've got a little bit of from my border that I could use in this corner. It's kind of nice. But they don't need much. Remember, we're just looking for a little bit of contrast. Okay, and now I've got a couple of orbs here. And I'm just putting that little smile. Now here I just kind of use a circular motion. Okay, how does that look? I'm going to call it good. If you want, I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to pick up my PN pen, and I am going to draw over top of the two lines, the edges of my bales tangle section. Now the reason I'm doing that is because it will hopefully it will add to the drama or contrast of my shading and make this stand out as the edge a little bit better. So you can look at it, and this edge, because I haven't gone over here, you can tell that this really looks a little bit darker and a little bit better. A little bit more contrast, I guess, for the edge. There. Okay, so we're done with our shading. That's step 6. We're moving on to step 7. Step 7 is our initials, and then we're going to sign it on the back. So what direction do I want this tile? Or where do I want to fit I think I'm going to put my chop right up here next to this print top, and I'll make it a little bit smaller. Oops, I don't want to use use my key and then I'll use my O1 and make it a little smaller. I guess tall and skinny. Put my little black purse on the other side. Okay, so I have initialed it by putting my chop on the front. On the back, I'm going to sign it. You can date it if you like, and I'm going to name our tangles. So we started with umble, and then we did bales, and then we did printemps, and tipple. And that is step 7. You don't have to put the names of the tangles on there. I just sometimes do that. And step 8 is simply to sit back and take a look at your tile and your piece of art and admire it and appreciate it once again. And that, my friends, is the 8 steps of the Zentangle Method. Now, I hope you enjoyed following along, and I do hope you drew along with me. So if you did draw along with me and you do post your pieces on social, please just go ahead and tag me if you like. You can tag me Brenda Campbell or Angel Whispers Art, either one works, and that will allow me to go in and see it. And I really enjoy seeing the work that you guys create from my videos. It's like a little class, but you're out there in the internet world and I can't see you, so seeing your artwork makes me smile. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it once again. If you did, please hit that like button so other people can enjoy it too. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button so that you'll see my videos every time I post them. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And remember, until next time, be you and be happy.